Hey everyone, Josh here with Fresh Start Customs, and today I'm going to do kind of a side angle here for you guys to focus on the WeCreat Vista here. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do your first print from setup on the WeCreat Vista. I'm going to assume that you already unboxed the machine, you removed these two pins that come with it for traveling, and then you inserted those rubber gaskets where those pins once were. And then I'm also going to assume that you removed the two screws on both sides that was labeled with those red stickers when it came with the machine. So as of this point, the machine should already be set up. It's super easy to do. Don't feel intimidated by it. They do a real good job on that piece of paper that they include with it, showing you how to set it up and install it. So we're going to just assume that you unboxed it and you got it set up to this point already on your own. And then all you gotta do is vent your hose right out a window like I have over here. I'm also gonna be demonstrating this with USB plugged in, but I'll show you how to get to the settings for Wi-Fi as well. I'm also gonna be using my mic for that camera right there because I don't have my good mic. I don't know where I put it to run with this computer here. This is a cheap computer, so I'm gonna be doing the screen sharing off of here and kind of flipping back and forth to show you what's going on here. So first up, let's talk about the machine. The machine, you have it all set up. All you gotta do is flip the switch in the back to turn it on. You'll hear the fan and a beep, and then eventually the light will click on here. You'll see the light click on and the laser's gonna home again. It may take a good amount of time, 30 to 40 seconds. So as you can see, it just turned on. The laser head is homing. If your laser head is already in the home position, it won't home again. Mine was just in this position due to my last video, the IR laser head. I swapped that out, and that's why mine was in the center. But if yours is all the way in the top left, it should already be homed and good to go. If you hear any grinding or clicking, that means that this little metal bar is not making it between the two magnetic sensors. Just shut off your machine, contact support. With that said, it is now ready to print. I plugged in my USB on the machine. We're gonna flip over to the software now. All right, guys, so now that we are in the software, you'll see this new project button here on the top right. We're gonna click on that so you can get in and see if your machine is online. As you can see, mine is online. It has a green dot and it's connected by USB. If you don't have that, you just click the down arrow, click plus to add, and then you select USB and choose your laser right here for you're on USB. You can also click Wi-Fi and click on that, but I like to do it in settings first. So let's go ahead and exit out of that. Let me show you the settings in the top left here. So under settings, you're gonna click on your Wi-Fi settings right here, and you can add your Wi-Fi settings by selecting your Wi-Fi username and password. I'm not gonna click on it here because I'm gonna stay on USB. I prefer USB, it's more reliable. In this settings here, there is precise vector path selection. I have that on. It's going to be off by default. I recommend you turning this on. It's a lot easier to select your cut lines, in my opinion. You can also change this to inches if you're in the United States, or leave it on millimeters if you're in the United Kingdom or prefer to work with millimeters. Another thing that you can do is make sure your air assist is turned on. That will be on by default with the blue diode laser that it comes with, but it may end up being shut off automatically with the infrared if you install the infrared. So keep that in mind that you need to turn that back on when you have the blue diode laser installed. With all that said, you can also check for updates. I recommend checking for firmware updates and software updates. I would do the software updates first and then the firmware updates second, and make sure you're all the way up to date. Right now, I think this is the latest versions. If you have any issues with the latest version of the software, after you update your firmware, you can always go backwards. A lot of people like 2.0.3 or 2.0.4, but you're gonna lose some preset cut settings and engrave settings, so keep that in mind. So in this example here, we're gonna go ahead and exit out of the settings, and I'm gonna show you guys your first cut and test run. I'm gonna grab a piece of wood here. So as you can see, I got this piece of wood. We're lifting up the machine now. We're gonna set this wood in here, and we're gonna just level it out with the bottom of this tray here. So it kind of like lines up just like this in the cut area. We're gonna leave that lid open on the Vista. If you have the Vision, this is where you would close the lid, hit refresh, and then do autofocus, but on the Vista, you're gonna leave it open, and it has this red laser pointer here, and that's what does the focus. So when you have the lid left open, it's going to use that camera that's right here, and you're going to click refresh, and it's going to take an image of this. And then after you hit that, you're going to click autofocus or auto measure, and then you'll see this flash to take an image of that auto measurement height. As you can see, it is now flashing. It's measuring the autofocus here, and it's back on, and then it's going to refresh in the software, and the thickness has changed. Now this material is thicker, so it's going to be a different thickness, about 5 millimeters or so. So I'm going to choose birch plywood and choose 5 millimeters, and then click confirm. As you can see, since I did that after the autofocus here, it changed it back to 5 millimeters. We don't want that. We're going to do auto measure one more time and let it change it back to the correct thickness. So I think it said about 7 millimeters. Yeah, 7.41 millimeters is how thick this material is with the autofocus there. So now that we have autofocus set, we can create our design. So you can either create a design within the software itself, like using these rectangles. You can just drag and draw. I did do a video on the software itself. This is an updated version, but it's pretty much the exact same for the most part. So you can draw out rectangles, circles, you can add text. So if I do a text, I can just click there. It has the word hello by default. And then to find your settings, you can do a line engrave, which is a score setting, which is basically a cut path, but it's just an engraving. There's also fill engrave, which is just a standard engrave. And then there is a cut path, which will cut those letters out. So with that said, let's go ahead and do a test here. We're going to do a fill engrave for the word hello. We're going to change this cut line, or this line here into a cut. And then I'm going to increase it to 100% power. And I'm going to do 6 speed. I think I did 7 speed with 2 passes originally, but I think that was too much. So I'm going to try 1 pass at 6. And then we're going to see if that works. I'm going to shrink this down a lot, so it doesn't take up a lot of my material here. And then I'm going to stick it like right underneath this laser head. I could probably go a little bit higher than that, but I just want to go in an area that we can do framing. I'm actually going to move it off to the right a little bit here. And then once you're ready, you can just hit start. We're going to hit start here. And then you can hit framing. So framing, as you can see, the laser goes around where it's going to be engraving at. So that's pretty much in the top left, but it is a little bit to the right because I didn't want the laser head to hit the side of the unit here. It won't let you frame if you're too close to the side of the unit. I'm going to hit framing one more time so you guys can see that one last time. As you can see, it's kind of outlining where it's going to be. So say I'm happy with that, we can hit send. It's saying that it's going to take 1 minute and 3 seconds. We'll hit send there. It's telling me to now close the lid. So we're going to close the lid and then now push the start button. We're going to hit the start button and the laser is going to go to town and start engraving here. So I don't think that I've selected any settings for the material. I think I just left it up to auto settings based on that material that I selected. So just keep that in mind. It looks like it is actually engraving really well with those birch settings here. Okay, the engraving is done. It is now cutting out the actual piece now. We'll see if we have enough power here or if we have to redo it. But I'm going to just show you this as an example here. Alright you guys, so now that the fan is shut off, I didn't want to interrupt that. I didn't have a top-down view, obviously, but all I did was engrave back and forth. I'll try to insert a clip to show you what it looks like when it's engraving. And then we're going to lift the lid. It does say to click complete. You can click complete or you can reprocess it if you didn't like the engraving or it's too light. It looks pretty fine to me. I'm going to click complete there. We're going to lift this up and see if it cut through. I don't think it made it quite through. I think I will need to do 2 passes for that, for this thicker wood here. But essentially that is what it's going to do. You can just find your cut settings, find the settings that works for your type of material. But yeah, obviously this didn't cut through. You're going to need to do 2 passes with that. I'm pretty sure I did 7 speed in 2 passes last time. This time I didn't do that, but that is essentially how you can do your first project right there. It's pretty easy. We'll do one more and show you guys how to import your own file. And I'm gonna do a real small version of it just to save time so I can stand here and watch it with you. But let's go ahead and go back to the software really quick. So in the software, we're gonna delete that hello, and then we're going to relift our lid, and then we're gonna rescan and refresh here so you can see what happens after that. So afterwards, you can see that hello that we engraved now is on the board since it didn't actually fall out. This is actually kind of a benefit that it didn't cut through, so you can kind of see what's going on here. We're gonna choose import, and then you can actually choose like a file that you want. So this is just a really old file that I had. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. It's just a little angel, and it says, I have an angel in heaven. I call her mom. And then we're gonna make that kind of small. We're gonna make it really small actually, just to save some time. Now the thing that is kind of hard here, we're gonna have to zoom in so you can see it better, is this is that vector path that I was talking about. If you didn't have that feature turned on, it'd be really hard to click these since they're overlapping. But none of these are welded together, so we have to highlight all of these, hold shift, and then get rid of the outside cut. And what we need to do is we need to merge all this text together. So we're gonna go up here and click merge graphic shapes. And what that'll do is it'll merge all that text into one unit, and that will allow it to engrave all at once instead of individually. So now that we have that selected, we're gonna go ahead and zoom back out, and we're gonna leave it pretty small like that. You can actually use this hand tool to move around if you want it to be more centered here. But that looks pretty good overall. Now what we want to do is we want to change our cut settings again. This time we're going to go down to 7 speed, I think it was, and 2 power, or 2 passes. Maybe it was 5. Let me go to 5 speed, 2 passes. That might be overkill for the cut line. And then for the engraving, I was pretty happy with how it turned out last time, so I'm going to just leave it like that. And then we're going to hit start here. Now that we hit start, I can hit framing just to make sure it's going to frame. But as you can see, it is now too close to the edge, it says. So I'm going to hit confirm, and we're going to just skip the framing and just hit send because we know that we are underneath that hello sign. So we're going to go ahead and hit send here. And now that we have it hit send, we're going to close the lid, and we're going to hit that start button, and we're going to let it engrave. All right, so there you guys have it. We got the fan off. It's ready to done. It's already done with the project here. We're gonna lift the lid. Then we're gonna see if those two cut out here. There we go. I just had to push it down to get it to fall out. As you can see, it now has cut out of there. When I get the actual project itself, there's a few little burrs that I gotta knock off here on the edges, like that. But overall, there is our little angel there. It turned out really well. But that is essentially a real quick rundown version. Obviously, your projects are going to be a lot larger and it's going to take more time than that. These were only about a minute a piece. But overall, it's a super cool little machine. I highly encourage getting one of these. If you want faster cut speeds and engraving speeds, go ahead and get the Vision. It'll work the exact same way except for the camera here. Like I said, the camera with this one is a little awkward because you have to leave it open when you hit refresh or autofocus and then close it at the very end, where the Vision, you just put your material in there, close the lid, and you do it the opposite way around. So this video can pretty much cover both of them. They work the exact same way with the exact same software. If you guys have any questions or more in-depth questions about the software or the hardware, let me know. As far as the hardware goes, I showed in a previous video with the IR laser, you just use these 2 screws here, swap out your laser head with the little plug on the back. It's super easy. And then the hardware for the slat trays, you can pull these out if you need extra room, but I would leave these in if you're gonna do any kind of cutting. So keep that in mind. But like I said, if you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to help you out and answer those. And thanks for watching. If you guys are interested in this laser or the Vision, I'll have some referral links down below as well. as well as the code Fresh Start Customs. If you're doing a package deal, you can get $100 off of that code. Other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.